Hello everyone and welcome to the Genshin Impact's Preludes series. As I've said before, this is a series all about the backstories of the playable characters in Genshin Impact. I will only be going into the stories on the character pages, so there may be potential story spoilers for some characters. This also means I won't be going into the manga or story unless their events are mentioned in the character stories. Anyways, today's video is all about Lisa, so sit back and relax as I read you her stories. The Librarian of the Knights of Favonius. In addition to her elegance and charm, Lisa is also highly educated. She is said to have been the most talented sorceress to study at the Sumeru Academia in the last 2 centuries. It is known that Lisa chose to return to Mondstadt after 2 years of advanced study in Sumeru, but the reason for her decision is not. Lisa is tasked with managing and maintaining the vast collection of books in the Knights of Favonius library, as well as ensuring that their potions are always fully stocked. The only time that the citizens of Mondstadt see Lisa is when lending or returning library books. In both scenarios, they tend to encounter Lisa sitting at the counter like a languid cat, yawning as she signs books in and out. At times, her behavior causes people to doubt whether she is really up to the task of being a librarian for the illustrious Knights of Favonius. Nevertheless, it appears that she performs every task flawlessly, as her work consistently stands up to scrutiny. The fact that Cyrus of the Sumeru Academia frequently refers to Lisa as their best student in 200 years is all that needs to be said about Lisa's accomplishments in her studies. From outlandish forbidden knowledge, to the handling of elementally infused flora, to the most efficient methods of distilling wine. Where there is a body of knowledge, the chances are that Lisa is acquainted with it. This, paired with her ability to explain things clearly and concisely, makes Lisa the sensible person to approach for young knights and alchemists with burning questions. That is, provided they go and see her at an acceptable hour. To visit during unacceptable hours, such as in the morning while Lisa is sleeping in, or in the afternoon while she's enjoying her tea, can spell disaster for unsuspecting visitors. When people meet Lisa for the first time, they often find themselves overawed by the famous alumnus of Sumeru Academia. However, though her attitude to life may appear at first to be one of ruthless efficiency, it is in fact better understood as a product of her incorrigibly lazy nature, which drives her to avoid troublesome issues at all costs. By negotiating with Kaya, she offloaded the job of restocking and dispensing medication to Huffman and Swan, and had Flora start sending Donna over to deliver herbs on a daily basis. The only tasks Lisa handles personally are the categorization and management of books and other documents. This is the one area where Lisa feels more comfortable handling the work herself rather than delegating it. When Lisa first joined the Knights of Favonius, the Grand Master sought to appoint her as the captain of the 8th Company. This was much of consultation of the company's field officer Nymph, who resented the idea of an academic coming in at such a high-ranking position. At Kaya's suggestion, a practice combat session was arranged in which Lisa and Nymph would both display their magical proficiency. 2 minutes into the session, Lisa graciously declined the captaincy on the grounds Nymph manifestly possesses the requisite ability to fulfill the role. For the whole year following, the Grand Master received a constant stream of referral letters from Nymph in relation to the captaincy, and the only person ever in them was Lisa Mincy. Eventually, the Grand Master began turning over the referral letters to Lisa directly, but every time, Lisa would come up with an excuse to decline the offer. Undoubtedly, the 8th Company would have been far stronger under her lead, but she deemed that such a level of power was not only superfluous to requirements, it would also be risky for her in a way that most people could never appreciate. To be clear, Lisa is quite confident that she could handle any situation she came up against. However, additional danger means additional workload, and that is something that she would never be able to accept. Having personally witnessed raving-mad scholars in the forests of Sumeru and powerful sages sitting underutilized advisory councils, Lisa realized what uninhibited erudition can really do to a person. It seemed such a high price to pay. How much did one have to sacrifice to attain the profoundest knowledge at all? Put off by this realization, Lisa decided to leave Sumeru. Since then, Lisa has always stopped short of taking things too seriously. Before demanding too many miracles from the gods, first consider if you are willing to pay the price they ask. These words she has spoken to just 3 people since arriving in Mondstadt. In each case, it was because she knew it was what they needed to hear. The Special Heating Cauldron is a purpose-built cauldron made to a design that no one in Mondstadt could understand. It features time delay heating, semi-automated ingredient insertion, and temperature regulation functions. Lisa spent an enormous budget and commandeered the alchemy workshop for 2 full weeks in order to build this extraordinary piece of equipment. She boasts that the cauldron is capable of completing any precision heating task to a perfection with a maximum of just 2 pulls of a lever. But her most common application for it is to brew tea and keep it at the optimal temperature while she is managing her books. After all, a relaxing afternoon tea session is by far the most important part of Lisa's day. A vision is a sign from the gods, a sign that you are one of those whom they have chosen to change the world. Or maybe it's just one of the many hoops that one has to jump through on the path to unearthing the secrets of magecraft. After all, understanding the elements is essential to the study of magic, and practical experience is a far more useful means of acquiring this understanding than trying to assimilate the knowledge contained in dusty old books. I suppose I shall need a vision then. And just like that, as the thought popped into her mind, her vision popped into her hand. With the aid of her vision, Lisa acquired the knowledge that she sought, but she also sensed the deep secret hidden in the shadows of that knowledge. For whatever reasons, the god gave humans the key to changing everything, but they did not explain the cost involved. Lisa grew fearful of the truth. The vision that hung from her neck became to her a bottomless pit filled with sweet delights lingering at the back of her mind. So, from time to time, when somebody whom she finds interesting comes along, Lisa will pass on to them her understanding on all kinds of matters. Perhaps she is secretly hoping that by doing so, one day someone will come along who has the ability to understand the ultimate truth behind visions. And those are all of Lisa's stories. Like Amber and Kaya, her story does continue in the game as well as in the manga, so I suggest you check those out too. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.